Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And today we're going to go into the goddesses of Egypt with Suzanne Alexandria. And Suzanne can definitely speak into and bring in a channel transmission and embodiment of these energies. How do I know? I was in Egypt with Suzanne last September, and what was coming through was profound in so many different ways through all the participants. But I know Suzanne had some very specific experiences. And on today's call, you're going to get to receive a download activation of of a very deep experience that Suzanne had there that she is going to channel and imprint for us today on this call. So get excited for that because it's amazing what's coming through. And there's gonna be a lot of channeling on today's call, transmissions. We're gonna open up to Q&A. And we'll get into the energies of Isis, I know, without question.
Mhm.
Maybe Hathor, Sekhmet, what other messages may come through as well. Um, and Suzanne's also going to share a little bit about Galactic Egypt and the ancient Egypt and how we're marrying the two of them within us now and what's activating also and coming through us. So again, it's going to be an amazing call. If you're new to Suzanne, Suzanne's an amazing channel, such a beautiful open heart, but she's a master intuitive. She's a spiritual teacher whose work awakens the sacred channel within. She's a priestess healer and high level channel who guides seekers through profound transformation by reconnecting them with their soul's original blueprint through Akashic Records activations. And I'll let Suzanne tell you more about herself as we open into the call. But with that, Suzanne, I'm excited that we're finally here together again.
Oh, I'm too. Hi, everyone. I'm really so delighted that I was just saying to John, I calculated we met exactly 9 months ago on the last Thursday of the month in September. So it's
In
fun
Egypt, yeah,
in Egypt in person. Yeah, our first in person. Thank
you can't make up the synchronicities. So what's coming through you? What is activating in this creation that's flowing through you for the benefit of the people that you're working with?
Empowerment, first and foremost. Empowerment. There's always this level of remembrance of the soul path and the soul's purpose here. That's what I work most with in my mastery program through the Akashic Records. And what's coming forward so much, very profoundly, these last couple of months is this it's an offering and it's an opening, it's an opportunity, but it's almost like we can't help it anymore but step in and be our true authentic selves, whoever we are. That's what I'm seeing. And I think it causes a lot of what could be perceived as pain or you know things like anxiety when we don't. But there's something magical, and I know others are talking about it too, where there's so much from my perception, Sophia, Christ light, the divine feminine, that's the area that I hold basically temple for, the divine feminine, Sophia light that is raining down on the earth, and that is it's birthing, it's burgeoning through our hearts.
Mm.
And so tonight, as we start to move into it, I just want to say thank you to everybody and invite you to open your heart, because the goddesses are already gathered all around us, and we'll go in much deeper. But I welcome and honor them and you. And if you're ready, if you want this attunement, it's a powerful diamond heart light activation that we'll formally do a little bit later, but I can already feel the energy. So don't be
It's
surprised if you start to feel something shifting in you, because you've said yes to this, and you're hosting something very profound within you right now that's here, and it can strengthen. So um that's what tonight's about, and that's what I'm seeing a lot of. It's like, let's just I got the message, welcome to the party. Let's just be in the party of all of this. A lot of us have done so much deep work that has been very, we've had our trials and tribulations it's time to enjoy it. And I have this sense that we get to in a very big way now, because the collective, the collective of us has decided it's time for sure. And there's so much support for that. So welcome to the party is what I'll say.
A- And that was really the theme of our journey into Egypt physically when we showed up. It's being in, I'll call it co-regulation, being in a harmonic, cohesive vibration that we're walking side by side with that which we acquiesce energy to previously in the past. So the integration of Isis or Sekhmet or Hathor as it's coming through, that they're really asking us to hold a vibrational refinement that is in
Mhm.
alignment, equal to, not having to bounce back and forth. And how's that emanating through you now? What are you noticing in yourself and in the clients that you're working with as you're bringing forward this embodiment of the emanation of this energy? And what's shifting in your work, and how are your clients shifting as you're sharing these transmissions, as you're holding a stable vibrational field to allow for the attunement and entrainment of that? And what's becoming possible beyond what you thought was possible?
Um, I think I would say what I'm starting to see more for all of us, that those that I work with and myself, is that we are experiencing the knowing that we are the creators, and how that our consciousness really matters, and that it's almost like, well, you better play in the light or else you'll create something in the muck. And it's people are talking about how much more quickly they have a thought and then something changes or things are manifesting. So I'm seeing that a lot, and I'm attributing that to all of our really big work in what you're talking about, in getting ourselves into alignment and clear channels, like in the vortex of what I always say, potentiality, this place of unlimited potentiality. And it's when we're in it, and the flow is there. And even this afternoon, I do a Thursday call, which is part of my offer, and we were in this call, and they were the guides are always saying, like, even I have this line here, right here on my background. It's how much easier it is to be and live when we're in the positive vibrations, which are frankly also what the rose imbues, which are joy and peace and love and harmony. And I think it's been frustrating for a lot of people to tap that, and I'm seeing that we have a lot more support. That's what tonight is about. This diamond light is a very highly refined light that I'll show you how to use in your heart space. And when we're in that, that's the place where even miracles can happen, and our thoughts are clear, and we know our next conscious step, and things just are easier. And that's been the case, but I've experienced more talking about that than experiencing it, in past years. It's
Mm,
been too dense. It's a lot lighter. And I think that's because I know it's because we've all lightened the field. That's what
mhm,
they're saying right now. We've all amped ourselves up and lightened the field of consciousness. And we
mm.
get to enjoy the party that we co-created. Actually, that's what they're saying. That's pretty cool.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
What specifically about Egypt and Galactic Egypt and the connection to the goddesses is is activating you right now? And again, why? Why Egypt necessarily?
A lot of us have ancient connections to Egypt. A lot of, really all of my clients are in some way, know themselves as priests or priestesses of the light. And that can be very broad, but it's rather an amazingly large group of us that have trained in ancient mystery schools and are remembering it. And that happens to be the anchor for me for my work. And I wasn't trained in that. It just came about where I started doing these activations like you'll experience tonight. And so why Egypt? Partly that we have ancient origins, and partly like what you and I and the group experienced, the resurrection of the truth of Egypt, the truth of Egypt. That's what I kept being shown. And I would love to share a little bit about that. So, there's so much in the history books, and truth is what we make it in a way. Everyone has a version of truth, but we have Sekhmet with us. And so John and I, for reference, there's a temple in Karnak, and it's a temple of Sekhmet. And it was this enormous complex, enormous, like you can't even imagine how vast it was. And it was after that, they're calling it an initiation with Sekhmet, when I was walking around with others, and all of a sudden, all at once, my eyesight switched to the galactic version of what it used to be. And so I started to see all of it in like all lit up. And you and I and others have learned that they had electricity in various forms. Even the Ankh was a conductor of electricity, and so were crystals. But I started to see it as this mecca of galactic interplay and intergalactic travel, just like I think of Lemuria and Atlantis. And I personally hadn't seen it like that, but I started to do this dance in between the two vortices, and it was really profound. And so I think that's a mirror for what's happening for a lot of us in ourselves, where all of us in some way, I believe we're from the galaxy somehow. Our souls are these ethereal, magical light bodies, and we're remembering that we are both that and a body. And the marrying of that, it's like that experience showed me, what's also going on inside our human temples, inside our bodies. The more we contemplate and realize ourselves as, like I'm actually this powerful creator essence of God, that's really beautiful light, and that's creator. So I would just say, encourage us all even more tonight to open to that, because the goddesses are far more interested in us advancing our awareness of ourselves as that. It's not so much about, it's amazing to know about past other lifetimes, but it's not about that. It's about like the creator, creatrix beings that we are, because we came here on this timeline to serve a very deep purpose of even using that to assist others to reawaken, like you have said, walking each other home in our own temples. So so the galactic version of all of us is here, and that what I really experienced in Egypt was the marrying, as we would do activations in all these different places in our sacred group. We were downloading high code from source into the earth grid as a group, but we were also bringing out almost like the gold nuggets of what is serving humanity now. There's so much there, and it was a combination is what I saw, activating but bringing it forward and then marrying that with whatever's coming next. That's very, we'll call it galactic, for lack of a better term. And to me, that's where we are, this marriage of all of that. That's part of our wholeness and oneness for that we have chosen to express in these times. And
Mm.
when we are in that union, you know, this is all the technical things going on. You can just call it divine union too, holy inner union. But behind the scenes, that's how I'm shown that it's working.
That's really great explanation of what's coming through. It's part of my awareness also of what we were becoming more available to us is in Egypt and right at Giza, especially right there at the nexus of the Giza pyramid, which is
Mhm,
actually the center point of the earth. It is the antenna for all the grid work for the rest of the earth and what's possible in the creation from being tapped into that particular wireframe for
mhm,
creation is profound. It's so much bigger than we can ever realize. And it's inviting us, like you said earlier, we're powerful creators. What are we creating from? How are we
mhm,
tuning into what's in alignment with the expansion and the upliftments rather than in the deterioration?
mhm.
But we get to choose. We
Yeah.
as God creators are doing that. And we have the energies and the consciousness of benevolent wisdom through Isis, through Sekhmet, through Hathor, through the goddesses as you're bringing them in, and in divine feminine, which in the way that you do,
Mhm.
that are demonstrating to us and holding a frequency field so that we can align to it,
Yeah.
create for the upliftment of others. And so these activations that you're bringing in, your ability to tune in from that heart expanded space and to
Mhm.
hold the frequency steady after receiving, because it's one thing getting through the threshold, it's
Mhm.
another thing being able to navigate that really potent field.
Right. It
Uh,
is. Yeah,
yeah.
we were talking about that today on our call. Like sometimes our bodies don't know the difference. And I've been realizing sometimes that's actually um like what's going on. Like our bodies might not know the difference between this gorgeous high frequency light because it's a lot, and like something that might be feel like anxiety or something. And we are just being so lovingly held to learn how to dance in that symbiosis with the earth too, like with the earth's holding of us.
Mm,
That's really what the goddesses, all the guides kind of want us to remember, is that we came here, like we are like what we're talking about, we're like that in other realities and
mhm,
incarnations. And in this one, how beautiful that we're learning to dance, to do that dance. And like what I get right now is that this is collectively, we've made the decision and the choice to plant ourselves. And now we're in this place of, okay, we did that. Now what? Now, how do we open? How do we stand tall? How do we surrender to the sunlight? If you're
mm.
thinking about a rose or a flower, a plant, how do we do that? And they're most interested in attuning us to our own remembering of that now, which is actually really cool.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Well, you offered to bring in an activation onto the call, and I feel it's a perfect time for that. I want to get into the activation again, attuning, refining into that space, holding the stable field. If anywhere is wobbly, this provides
Yeah,
ground.
yeah.
As in the transmission, then we'll open up to some Q&A and we'll guide through because I feel like there's a lot that's coming through Suzanne right now, and I think it's
My
a
hands are
lot
doing
of
this.
questions. I can feel that. I can feel that.
Yeah.
So I
Hmm.
want to invite everybody. sit back, relax. You can raise your hands after and ask your questions after we go through the transmission. You can type it into the chat box as well.
Yeah.
We'll have time to go into Suzanne's special offer in a little bit. So there's so much time on today's call. I feel like we're going to accomplish so much, and
Yeah.
really the time won't even be an issue today. So with that, Suzanne, please take over with the
Okay.
transmission.
All right, beloveds. Thank you. Thank you, John. I'm going to just dive in with some light language to get us started and then guide. Ka aniana maka awatiana a a. So we, the priestesses of light, the goddesses of Egypt, the goddesses that you know, we're here with you at this at this very moment in this present day at this time for, in some sense, nothing more than to assist you in further realization of your diamond heart light connection and who you are. We also want you to know who we are, and many of you do. This is about self-realization of this essence of you that is like a diamond, and that is why we've asked Suzanne to bring through the diamond light transmission. So I'm going to share a little bit about that briefly as this starts to percolate. And Mother, Father, God, we ask a blanket of light to assist every beloved here to surrender into the opening and softening to receive. This is an Akashic Records download from your own field, by the way. It's also a cosmic source light, so it's a combination, but your soul brought you here for this because it's appropriate and relevant. And you might feel, to me, it feels like diamond dust, like a very refined light. So as we're getting started, I'll just share that when the first temple that John and I in the group visited almost just 9 months ago was the temple of Isis. And I have always had a very deep connection with Isis. And towards the middle of our journey on that on the island where the Isis temple is in Aswan or near Aswan, all of a sudden I was guided to go sit on a stone wall, and some sisters gathered around and held space too. And we opened a portal of what this is, and we were connecting it in with the Earth's golden grid. And the way I see that is that there's this golden grid that circles the Earth that is the new Earth vibration. That's what you and I, that we, as we really fulfill our missions as light workers, lighting up ourselves and these places, and following our hearts to places that the Earth calls us to, but mostly into our hearts. We are, in a sense, we're replenishing, we're uplifting, but we're actually triggering brand new earth intelligence, earth codes in this grid. And so we were doing that, and that's what is starting to move through you at this time. And you will know it as source, you'll know it as this very pure source light essence. And it's our intention that you let it percolate through your central light column and through your feet. Let your feet send it down into the earth. And then let yourself imagine and feel and be in your heart as a diamond, as a rose diamond. And it's meant to help you attune to the cosmic heart, the galactic heart, and the heart of Gaia within your own heart, and then the collective heart of humanity. So this is a very powerful frequency. So that's a bit of an explanation, and we're going to go in from there. So in order to really call it in, Isis is bringing this dome, this pyramid. It's an ethereal temple, like a pyramid in Egypt, ethereally. It's from that realm. And she is placing that around you. And it's also yours. It's a co-creation between you and Isis. And the goddess Sekhmet is anchoring at the foot, at the feet, at the foot, she's saying, with the earth's vibration and magnetic field, and assisting with a clearing. She's the one of the goddesses of clearing and literally banishing what does not serve. She's that powerful mother goddess love that says, I will no longer tolerate this. This will not stand here any further, any longer. And so there's an opening with her right now as she's holding the vibration of your feet to let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go of old judgments, very specifically old judgments. You don't have to know what they are. Let go of old judgments, because in this place of the fifth and sixth and seventh dimensional lights that you embody, there just is no place for judgment. And so there's actually a very powerful clearing of judgments. And they're saying we're specifically calling it that because the word judgment is an over label for many, many, many programs, many of your resistances. A lot of the old resistance comes in the form of judgment. I can't do this, I can't do that. I'll never be able to, that kind of thing. And so there's a purging of that from our systems right now. And if you notice, it's being done in such a gentle, loving, empowering way. So you might be feeling your feet tingling. You might be feeling this resurrection of groundedness as that's happening. And Sekhmet and Hathor are bringing in something else. Ka'ania paka'ania ka'awatia namaka hirapa ka'ania watikaparia akaninia pa'atinana a'a. If you'll allow from your central light column and from your central light codes in your golden akash, ki amania naka awaria na'aka, we're opening your own book of life, if you will, your own akashic field, kina awatia nama atia a, to help you access your golden layer of your own akash. Ki amania ka'awatia nanaka. And Hathor is the goddess that sits atop the throne in so many of the temples. She's at the very, very, very top of the pillars in so many of the temples. She holds this space for us, for humanity, as she did in ancient times. She still does. It's this place where our consciousness meets heaven. And it's represented by her at the top of pillars. And then this doorway often is carved into the top of pillars that is representative of the directness of you being in full source connection. So it's so beautiful. But Sekhmet is working with clearing and helping you ground, and Hathor is holding open the high chakra, the higher self chakra, the gateway. And Isis is holding you in her wings, in her arms. She's holding in the temporal field. So your body feels comfortable, because they're saying this is like for some of you, it'll be like a resurrection of something very, very familiar and yet new. So all of that is beautiful preface to what is coming through, and mostly fall into the surrender of how these goddesses love you and how they are holding you and how they are reminding you that you're part of this greater unimaginably greater collective shift. And if, because you are here, because you are called here, you long ago, they're saying, you decreed to yourself, this would not be happening if it wasn't part of your original divine blueprint and your decree for yourself for this time. Long ago, you said yes to be a bringer of the new consciousness. And many of you know that, but they're saying we want you to really know that it's time to own that, because many of you are leaders and many of you are opening into a new kind of leadership, and that leadership really demands this perspective that can be calm yet so grounded in this highest truth and highest vibrational golden diamond light. So take some breaths. Kina amaniatika awatia maka aria awa. And continue to breathe as perhaps your shoulders soften and your wings rise softly. And Isis, Kina awadia, Isis stands before you, engaging you with your own book of life that is part of your own sacred heart center. And she's saying, imagine, beloved, and know and see with conviction the truth. And she's actually helping you go through your heart portal through your own Akashic book of records. And this clearing is washing away innumerable obstacles. So it's not so focused on past lives, it's focused on obstacles. Feel that in your belly, in your solar plexus. And she's pointing to your own truth. Your book of life, it's real, it's an energetic field of you, and it holds your keys, it holds your codes, it holds you, and it's a gateway. And she's pointing to the book and saying, beloved, it's all right here. And now she's pointing to your heart. It's all right here. It's all right here. It's all right here. It's all right. And it's all right here. Kina wadia ma'atia na na na. So this is not only a light activation, but it's a remembering also of your own sovereign decree for your own lifetime now, that which you came here for. Kina wadia maka aria. So now from your own field, from this book of life, Kina ma'atia, arises a diamond. And notice what kind of diamond it is. Notice how it is. How do you perceive your diamond? It's going to be unique for you. Notice what color it is. Kina amatia ka'atia da'aka. Notice how big it is. Kina mania. Notice the shape. Notice if it looks like an actual diamond or a representation. This is a key code of this diamond light, and you're being activated into your own, but also our collective diamond light key code. Kina amania kawatia namaka adia. And by the grace of Sophia, goddess, this is a sovereign declaration of your own independence and your own, more than that, also your own brilliance. Because they're saying, we want nothing more. We encourage you to abandon those old judgments and acknowledge your own brilliance. There's much more to it, but the brilliance of the diamond, the brilliance of what it represents, and the brilliance of what your own heart is, your sacred heart, that sacre coeur, that is what we are here to uphold we're here to uphold the truth of that so that you can feel so safe and comfortable uniting with that within yourself. Hina matia naka awaria aka. And as this key code of your diamond sovereign light is being attuned within your heart space, it's so vast. It's in the body, but it's also in the ethereal heart space around that circles around your body. And it's also, it's being aligned with the cosmic mother's heart. Hina amania kawa tianaka awa tiakawa tiakawa. The mothers are here to help us as we've learned to be our own mothers and to be the mother. They're helping us understand what it means to attune ourselves to the cosmic version of the cosmic mother, which is without bounds, without true definition. But this is a vast opening for you, beloveds, in the context of your journey to allow the fullness of the mother here now. You're here now. Mother, Father, God is here now. This is really mother light moving, anchoring you in the infinity light of God consciousness. Kina amaka awadianaka ania. Right here, right now, there's beautiful emphasis of be here now, receiving this communion, this holy communion, and be here acknowledging that, oh, I really am a keeper of this key code within me. It's a very powerful, it's a very powerful activated resource now in you that you can find whenever you focus on it. So as you move forward, this is going to keep adjusting with you throughout the rest of our talk and perhaps into the next few days. But what they're showing is that if you'll allow this light to simply, it's almost like seeing the diamond, let it get nestled in you, in your heart space just perfectly. That's sort of a metaphor for adjustments that might happen that you might sense or feel. Let it get adjusted just perfectly. So how beautiful. You're like the jeweler placing it in the perfect setting. You're the creator of it. And you've said, oh, now I'm going to be amplified by this Christ Mother light, this diamond light. And I get to do it just so, and I get to use it and shine it however I want. so Hina waria ma'atia ka'oatia. So that's really the conclusion of that activation. And we can talk about it and see what's coming up and take questions about it. This is very much, I'll just say it's an extension of not only the goddesses, but just a couple of weeks ago, all of the divine feminine came through and said, we are the council of mothers. And that was new to me. It might not be new to everybody, but that's the holding place that we're in now in this container, with that activating for a time. It's not going to be forever. It's like for this time, let yourself walk in that holding as you get used to your own brilliance. And there's always so much compassion and so much shelter and so much holding for you that they're saying we're just a breath away. Call on us, call on us, call on us, call on us. If you desire assistance, if you wish to even know more, call on us, is what they're saying. So thank you to all of the goddesses, and thank you all. I'm happy to take questions or.
We will definitely take questions. Anyone who wants to ask a question, we have some in the chat. Some
Mhm,
people have their hand raised already. There's more coming in. A
okay.
reflection that I want to share as we were receiving this as well is there was a lot about embody to step into the time is now.
Yeah.
As we were finalizing the transmission and they're echoing out, I heard very clearly that the reason that you're on this call or these type of calls, the reason that there's a resonance for you to be attracted to be in this field is because you've already made the choice to do that.
Mhm, mhm.
It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be conscious. And we may be navigating how do we do it? But just like in Egypt, there's things that are awakening within the earth plane, within the galactic, the cosmos.
Mhm.
I don't know, there's things that are awakening within us that we truly don't have concept of. It's part of our unfolding and our majesty as well.
Yeah.
But again, know that if there's any questions as to the how, any questions as to the why, or why haven't I been able to, or why am I stuck, or I don't know how to receive this, or yeah, it lands, but it's only partially in different ways.
Mhm.
Relax into you've already chosen this and you're being directed
Yeah.
exactly to those
They,
places
they
that are
literally
in
said,
coherence.
mhm. Yeah.
Right. What were you going to say, Suzanne?
They did literally say that you chose this. This is in they've been using the word covenant a lot lately instead of contract. Covenant. In a covenant with yourself, you chose long, long, long ago this path of the rose, of the light, of the Christ light, however you want to call it, because of your own soul's choosing. And now why not understand that and know it and let it bloom out of you.
Mm.
One way to say it. And I just do know the gems are in the gem. We find the gem in the surrender to that, like stopping a struggle and letting our knowing that, but from like a leadership perspective, like I really did choose this, so I'm going to embrace it and teach or shine or heal, or bestow in whatever ways I can.
And
And
I think you nailed it when you said that in the surrender, and what we're surrendering into is ourselves and trusting that. We think that we're surrendering into a source outside of us, and this is taking us into the Zeptepi, the 0 point within ourselves, the
mhm,
point
mhm,
of creation. And if we can breathe into that, we are surrendering into an awareness that we already have inside ourselves, but we've just forgotten and hear echoes, but it's becoming louder and
yeah.
beautiful.
I know. I think it's painful if you don't listen to it, is how I experience it, and how a lot of people that I work with experience it. And then when you finally say, okay, I'm gonna surrender, I allow, then the bliss party starts.
The bliss party starts, which we're back to the party. Let's get into some Q&A. There's a lot of people with the hand raised. I'm going to start calling y'all. I want to acknowledge those who joined us in Egypt, which I can't believe this is the first time y'all have joined this show. Where have you been? You've been missing out, but that's okay.
Ah,
Uh,
really.
it's like, come on, y'all. Sakara, Amber, Tim, Ellen's on. Who else is? I've been scrolling through to say hi to you guys. We have Ann that's on. Christine's on.
Oh,
Um,
for a trip. There's a
love,
lot of
love
us.
you guys. Love you guys. Yeah, like a quarter of our trip are here. It was awesome. So it's wonderful to be able to.
With no hot bus ride.
But the bus rides were amazing. Are you kidding?
They
They were
were amazing.
hot.
I know. They
Please.
where the
Uh,
magic was.
all right, let's get into some Q&A. Carolyn, let's start with you. Or I'm sorry, Carol, let's start with you. Welcome to the call.
Oh, thank you. In listening to all of this, it's very heartwarming. But I have never really felt a connection to Egypt or, those gods and goddesses. I've always had a really strong connection to Athena and also to Merlin.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
Mhm.
so I'm just wondering, am I missing out on something? Should I do some research in there, or are there messages from either of them?
Well, so like even now, does Egypt call to you? Or did that diamond light call to you?
Oh, definitely the diamond light. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So like it matters not if that is your path to be on. This is all, it happens to be my path and several of us here that I know, but it matters not, because this is a universal attunement to your own heart's diamond light. So
Mhm.
it has nothing to do with Egypt. The call was from your heart and your soul. And so it just happens that the way I always do these things is with the goddesses of Egypt. That's how it's always been, but it matters not, like your lineage, if you want to call it, or whatever. So you said Merlin and who else?
Athena.
Athena. Yeah, I mean, there, I would say, like, go with that. They had also, Avalon had this magic, so did Greece, and it's all part of the same collective experience. So for all of us, follow where the light is, follow your heart.
Mm.
And very specifically, Carol, just a sec, Kina ama tiana aware. You are on a path with the goddess and also the magic, and those two that you mentioned, those are definitely your peeps. So talk to them about your own version, is what I would say also, of what we experienced. Again, this was not specific to Egypt. It was specific to the soul light codes from your blueprint.
Mm.
But talk to them about how you embody your your version of yourself. Whatever you feel, you don't even have to affiliate with any of them. It's about being you and your you. So if you took this into your heart, go be Carol and know that you know those peeps and you're doing exactly you. And that's really what it's all about. It's not about emulating them. They are showing us what's possible, and they are holding us, all of them. They're holding us.
Beautiful.
Oh, Carol?
Thank you.
Carol, thank you for coming in. And again,
Yeah.
what we're also bringing in for us is a permissatory field to allow the resonance to show up in whatever form is calling to us at whatever moment. It
Mm.
doesn't mean that we're ever missing out, but
Yeah.
there's a synchronization that's happening. And by you holding this field, it's helping to unify these other fields, if you will, in grid work that's coming together as well. And so
Yeah.
does it matter where I enjoyed the child's laugh from? If the child's Japanese or from Australia or from the US or Latin America, that laugh's still going to light me up, and how wonderful that I get to experience in all these different forms.
Mhm.
Fractalized love, as we experience it as individuals, as we put it together, reminds us of the unity of all of it.
Mm.
And how wonderful to create unity rather than separation. How wonderful that we have these figures that resonate specifically with our alchemy,
Mhm.
illuminate something that we can illuminate for ourselves and others by walking the path in truth and owning that
Mhm.
this is possible for all of us, that I have a connection with Merlin or Isis or whoever it may be. Wow.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be talking about that so openly 15, 20, 30 years ago. But look at us.
Yeah. Mhm. And in a sense, what I know too is they want to hold us, and they do. They want to walk with us so that we know ourselves, and until they'll always be walking with us, but they want us to be as sovereign and see ourselves as them. I always get that with this question, like they want us to see ourselves like that, lit up like this, like with our wings up in perfect peace, peaceful sitting, or whatever resonates. So it's a lot, the archetypes, we resonate with the archetypes too. And it just helps us in our humanness to say, oh yeah, that's what I feel like, and it's very helpful as a tool as we assimilate into, like, who knows, like many people have no affiliation with that whatsoever, because they're just, ultimately the goal is to completely be our own unique unicorn.
Amazing. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much for that question,
Thank you.
Carol. It's wonderful
Thank
to have you here.
Mhm.
We're going to the next caller, and I want to acknowledge Carlotta and Tim. Did I acknowledge you earlier? Dawn's on the call with us.
Oh, how fun.
So we've got a lot of people on that are on, and Jilly's here with us also. And Jilly, why don't you mute your microphone?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm
Oh,
coming from help.
oh, we have
No?
a Jillian and a Jilly, but again, Jillian, let's start with you. That's all right, and then I'll go to Jilly. That's great.
Thank you. I'm coming to you from Halifax, Nova Scotia. I might be the only Canadian here, I don't know. And I've been following you for a long time, John. So thank you. Suzanne, so much of what you said really spoke to me. And I've been on a big journey in the past couple of years, but it's really stepped up in 6 months. And I felt blockages. And so I did a weekend with a shaman using plant-based medicines. And what came out, you made a comment tonight that I think you said something that's not your blockages, it's not your past life, it's your blockages. And I wondered if you could elaborate on that, because what came out for me that weekend was some pretty horrible stuff from past lives, but also some things from this life, a lot of anger and rage and all kinds of repressed emotions. And since then, I've had some beautiful meditations where I've met and been embraced by my inner being and by the divine feminine. So I know that that's there. I know it's inside of me, and I know it's possible, but I still feel these blockages. Like I wake up at night and I'm kicking in my bed, kicking someone away from me who's trying to get close to me. And I don't know if that's my ego fighting my transformation, or like
Mhm.
I guess I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and I'm
Let's
still
see what
quite
Suzanne
confused.
taps into. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So first of all, I know what you're speaking of, where they said this is not, they meant like this in that moment was not about past lives, for one thing. Okay. Like it was whatever was going on in the activation, the clearing was not. So we were not categorically saying that nothing has to do with past lives, because it does. Do we need to dwell in them? I don't believe that. And also sometimes they arise. Even though I teach Akashic records, we don't, it's more for this activation than, but it is also for bringing forward from past lives. So there's less of an emphasis now, I think, on past lives. That's not to say that you or any of us don't have a little bit of something to learn that is still running through. So what I would say is you've got a like in old terms, we used to call it a bleed through. I wouldn't call it that anymore. It's like you've got a direct connection from other lives that you brought, and I can feel it in your throat. And so for today, I'm just going to clear that with the guides with you, because that is that is something that is causing that inner battle. That's still an inner battle with an aspect of you, and it's from there and also here. So that's what I can say. Do you feel that in your throat?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're clearing that out. Kina amantia naka awadia, and we just release it to the infinity light of God, of the light. And so I do see, especially because, are you drawn to work with shaman? Like, have you been particularly? I think you have that kind of an aspect of you that's shaman. And so that aspect does tend to work in that realm. And so that's what I would say for now, like, pay attention to that. as a teaching tool for you in this lifetime. It's not always like, oh my gosh, we have to clear all this stuff. Yes, we do, but for you, it's a teaching, it's a reference of teaching that you're familiar with, because that's like a part of you that you brought forward for this life experience. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, and is it something I brought forth to heal in this life?
Yes, and also to powerfully use. To use that, like I could say, I brought my priestess self forward. You have a very distinct part of you that's shaman. You've had a lot of lifetimes as a shaman, like a medicine woman.
Yes, a healer, yes. And in this life, I'm a nurse practitioner, and I've done 7 past lives, and I've been a healer in many of them. I was hung as a witch in the 1600s. And so, yeah, and that's why I wondered if that's where the throat came from the hanging. I wondered if I was carrying that from my hanging.
Yeah, I don't get that for you. It's more the for today, what was released was old belief systems that could have been related to a hanging too, but it's very much that the throat chakra holds our belief. We are like transmuting old belief systems very rapidly now these days. That's one thing I'm seeing in sessions. So my guides and I are always like, don't really dwell. Yeah, we know we were hung, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's kind of like that now. We don't want to play there. We want to play like, oh, okay, I'm sure that affected me. It probably made me afraid. I still have some resonance. I send it to the light and bless me and everyone who was involved.
Beautiful.
Bless everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Jillian, thank you for being here. One thing I'd invite you to, Jillian, is to consider in those dreams as you're kicking and tossing and turning, what aspect of you are you kicking away that you're afraid to integrate because you don't know it? And that's part of a shamanic journey that I feel very strongly coming up for you as well. So, what are you ready to breathe in as your own light? What is it that we push away in darkness? The allies that want to show up for us, but it takes us being with them and accepting them rather than dismissing them as something less than because our fear tells us that they're supposed to be, or our conditioning tells us that what we're supposed to be, or our past life experience tells us that they were wrong at some time. And we're here to integrate all that into unity consciousness. So even those parts of ourselves that we would rather shame or belittle, they're being called home. They're being called home. And we're not going to be hung or drowned or burned at the stake in this lifetime. Not us, not any of us on this call.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Blessings to you, Jillian.
Thank you for bringing that, John. That's the other, I really appreciate that, because there's always those two things, like often side by side, sense of belief to the light, and then loving the part of us that was left out or whatever,
But you and I tag team together really well in this way. So it's wonderful.
It's beautiful.
And there's so much to share, right? And such little time. So thank you, Jillian, for bringing that in. Hey, y'all, we're going to get into a special offer in just a little bit. The link is going to be in the chat box. It's right underneath where you're watching the call from, either live or on replay. But before we do that, I want to go into Jilly's call right now. So Jilly, welcome. Let's get you to unmute your microphone, please.
Yes, I did. Thank you. Thank you. You just moved.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
I wasn't planning to come on camera, and but when you did, that was a beautiful activation, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Suzanne. But my experience really sort of surprised me, because where I felt the download go, it wasn't into my heart, it was into the region of my third eye. And I kept playing with it, and it was like, no, stay there, just stay there. And then it felt really clear to raise my hand because I have a feeling you may be able to give me some more information about that.
Mhm.
So if you can, that's what I will
Yeah.
raise my hand for.
Okay. Just a moment. Ka aniata pa ka tianama. So, Jilly, this is your personal guides. We were helping you rewire, rewire with that central light source of the central diamond light of, like they're saying, of the grid, that we are in, and that's galactic, that's our hearts, and that's Gaia. So we were helping you rewire. In your case, I'm glad you brought this up because the others might have experienced it in other ways. Our intuition system is also being highly, highly activated. And the correlation is that you're a carrier of this already because of who you are. And actually you were with me that day when it happened.
I know.
So you are a carrier. We were sitting together. So you already have it. So what they did for you with you is correlate that with your third eye. There's something very profound that is like attuning, in instilling that heart light directly into your intuition system. Wow. So that's probably what's coming for others in the future too, because you have such an expanded heart already with what you've done and who you are, but know that just see your whole crown, like your intuition system, but also your crown being opened, attuned with that heart center also now. So that's what I'm seeing happened. And so thanks for asking, because others might have had a different experience too.
Oh,
Yeah, you were a bringer
yeah.
of me. Yeah.
Jilly, thank you for bringing that in. That's
Yeah.
really profound because what's also happening again, as we're integrating into more unity consciousness, into understanding the fluidity of the parts that make the whole and not separate, it would make sense as our heart is activated and expanding that it starts merging with our field. There is no separation really between what the third eye and what the root chakra would feel or the crown, and we're merging that more. So to expand the heart up through the throat into the third eye is just a beautiful
Yeah.
initiation. And even if you think of high heart and start doing there, you can start feeling it in your throat. And you're right. I mean, with what you saw with Jilly, that open expansion from that intuition,
Mm-hmm.
from that connection level it's profound what's happening. And Jilly's demonstrating what we're expanding into, what's available for us.
Yeah. I mean, I dare say I'm seeing as you're talking, John, that eventually, I mean, a frame of reference is always how Jesus was all lit up.
Yeah.
Like it's a process to essentially become all cosmic heart, actually, which
Amber, heart light.
makes
Love
sense.
this reference for the connection to the grid. So
Mhm.
amazing what's coming through. Um, let's get into a special offer. If y'all haven't clicked on it, click on the special offer button underneath the video. If you're watching on YouTube by any chance, you can access the replay. There's a link in the comments for for the special offer. And you can always access special offers by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace. Now, I know you're offering a live call and there's other calls that are integrated in there, and I want to get in descriptions of that, but do you get into reading the field for individuals and for the group as well on some of these calls? So
Yeah.
this is kind of what will be experienced.
Yeah, on all of them, there's an opportunity for that. So
Mm.
it's really a sequence of 5 live calls that the workshop, we've selected 3 different dates for you to select from. So one of them works for you. And then then I host Thursday calls, which I've referenced, and those are always live. It's very intimate, and there is always an opportunity for interaction like this that's very, very beautiful. So it's activation plus assistance and plus the opportunity to ask the goddesses. I mean, it's my intention that you feel comfortable asking directly through me, also the goddesses, questions about personal things or collective what's going on. So I'm really excited because I just felt like this whole package of five times together is going to be
Mm.
really beautiful and fun and illuminating and certainly chakra opening.
Well, the first item is specific to the goddesses of Egypt, and that's a
Yes.
90-minute live workshop, which includes deep dive channeling attunements
Mhm.
with questions to the goddesses, and you have live Q&A also. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's 90 minutes, and I love how you wrote in here because you're tapping into the goddesses of Egypt,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Atlantis, and the white light. Tell me more
Hmm.
about the white light.
The white light, to me, as I've always been shown, it's ultimately, I would say I mean, it's if there is an objective, just like what I said, how I always see Jesus all lit up as white light. Well, we are that also. It's not just Jesus, but as a reference, the white light is that realm of source consciousness that ultimately is the field. I call it also the field of unlimited possibilities, but it's the realm of source that we are becoming. We are remembering we're source, and as more and more of our physical cells light up, we're becoming more and more of that. And this was a little helpful attunement for that. So that's what it is. It's God consciousness, which is in my belief system and my experience now, that's what we are, in awakening that in ourselves. We are lighting up this earth with it, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I love that you explained that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
So y'all, that's the 90-minute call, and then there's 4 Thursday calls that are available to you also when you register. And again, I get that you tune in, you channel, you read questions.
Mhm.
Are those kind of more like what's in the field at the moment, and you dive in on Thursdays with that, or are they thematic?
They are what's in the moment, and they are guided by who's involved too. It's very relevant to who shows up, and they are recorded. All of these are recorded. So in those calls, I channel many other beings too. Sometimes it's Arcturians. Sometimes I channel the Hindu deities. That can vary. I'm not sure. For this next 4 weeks, it might remain this goddess light. I think it will remain this goddess light, actually.
Mm.
And the other goddesses like Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene that are always walking with with me and those I work with. So I say loosely, that's what's going to happen. One time after one of these calls, John, I don't know if I ever shared it. I probably did, but it's been a couple of years ago. The next Thursday, when we had new members, all of a sudden at the very end, Metatron came in and said, "Hey, everybody, you guys are here for these weeks together. We are doing this masterclass." And it was very specific. And
Wow.
it was on co-creation with Metatron and with the angels. So I, I'm often surprised. I often go and think I have a theme and then it evolves, is what I'll say. And it also is very guided by the desires of the you all who come to those. So they can be a lot more free flowing, but they're
Mm.
always right on point, also with kind of what's going on in the collective too.
Beautiful. So y'all, you get the 4 live calls, the 90-minute call, which is directly with the goddesses of Egypt and the
Yeah.
white light, Atlantis, Lemuria. You can see it there on the special offer. You can read through that. You get the 3 calls. No, wait, the 4 calls, Thursday
Mhm.
calls.
Yeah.
um, after you register. And then you are also going to get the full access to the Alexandria Library,
Hmm.
Cosmic Akashic Circles. First of all, you have to it might be obvious, y'all, but it's just good to be explained. Why did you name it the Alexandria Library?
Because, well, I changed my name in 2020. And as I searched for a name, Alexandria was bequeathed to me through a series of events, for one thing. And then it's just always so fun to say that this is the Alexandria Library is the library of what happens in the House of Alexandria is in my, this temple, this mystery school temple. So I just love how it sounds, and I love calling that. And when you register for this, you'll have access to that from this year. It's quite a lot of very deep dive attunements as well. So you can listen to those at any time.
Yeah, and you call them Cosmic Akashic Circles. So
Mhm.
just y'all can feel what you're
Yeah.
going into when you access those calls as well. So the full
Mhm.
package, all the live calls, access to the library of pre-recorded calls and attunements and transmissions that come through Suzanne with these beings,
Mhm.
all to help us in remembering what we've already chosen and coming
Mhm.
back to it. Uh,
Yeah.
the package all is $147. There's a two payment option. And I hope that you all take an opportunity to go in and be in this collective field with Suzanne. So this is a wonderful offer, Suzanne. Thank you for bringing this together.
Oh, Sunshine has been on my calls for a long time, and she just said they're the best. Thank you.
Thursday calls are the best.
I want to say it doesn't happen often enough, but I always love to take requests too. So, again, it's guided. Spirit knows what you want, what your heart's desire is, but I'm always happy to hear from you and ask, be asked for something specific. And I always say that. So
Amazing.
it's pretty, I'm just very delighted to be in service that way to your activations, your growth, your understanding, and
And you get to channel these beings through you. So how amazing is that to be in the field
oh,
where you get to be the receiver and the transmitter of that? It's like get the best job ever.
yeah, yeah,
So cool.
pretty amazing.
Y'all get the link for the special offers in the chat box or underneath the video where you're watching. Click on it, add it to shopping cart. You'll get access to the library right away. And all the dates for the live calls are in the special offer page, so you can find them all there.
Yeah.
Um, I love Sakara. Thank you for writing in. I have to share Sakara is like she showed up in Egypt, and I thought she was like deep into this work for like years because she carries like this knowing in her field, but she was fairly new to this. And
Mm,
even today, Sakara wrote in as I was centering for sleep last night, I saw a rainbow crystalline hexagon diamond, which came back up into night's meditation. So interesting that I saw it first yesterday. I
mhm.
just love how she's tuned into the field. And again, that synchronicity is not only just like, oh my God, look what's happening, but I see it as an amplification of what was being brought in as she's bringing her consciousness to it. We're lighting each other up in the field.
Absolutely. And isn't that so beautiful? Because that's also how we're guided, but how spirit's answering to
Mm.
our desires too. It's just like so amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So thank
Sakara,
you.
for sharing that. Yeah, Sakara
She's
is
awesome, man. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm new to this. It's like, no, you're not. All right, let's continue with live callers. Alicia, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, welcome to the call.
Did. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. It was lovely. It was lovely. It was so palpable and it stayed with me. And like Jilly, or Jill, Jilly, it's staying like in the back of my neck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
So
what's it
just
like?
it's kind of like right back, back here at the back base of my head, the back of my
Mhm.
neck.
What do you sense? Like, what does it feel like?
It feels dense, kind of heavy,
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
It's a definite addition, and the rest of it's very lovely.
Yeah. Do you
The-
mind if I just do a clearing?
Please, yes.
I can't help it really. But I always ask permission. But so what I get, Alicia, it's kind of funny how I usually just see it like this. That's a very powerful intuitive center of our nervous system, and like intuition is meant to enter there. And so many of us didn't grow up being open intuitively. And I always just see it like a cork is in there. And so that's what is being cleared for you, so that like your central light column that runs up and down your spine, the Sushumna it's going to end up being a lot more in flow. So that's all perfectly good. And there's, it's going to happen. It's happening now. One thing I'll just say is there was an old belief system. Okay. It's old. It might even now at this point be subconscious, but almost like one of your core wounds, which is commonly shared, that I'm not good enough, and that they're related. So you might also feel in the throat that getting cleared. And I can tell like you've done the pre-work for this. That's when these clearings always get to happen. And so also keep reminding yourself that, yeah, you deserve to have all this openness, because it's somehow related to receiving literally messages more distinctly, or what have you. I'm not sure where you are with that, but more distinctly. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, the diamond and the heart, everything is just beautiful.
Yeah.
But that was a lingering thing. Thank you, John.
It's for a lot of people, I see it just getting open now. So you're not alone. And maybe we'll be seeing more of that. I started to see that more because it's a very powerful center.
It's feeling better already. There's just a little bit left right here in the throat, but I'm assuming it's gonna dissipate.
Yeah, it will. Just allow it and tell yourself, yeah, oh, I'm totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, I love myself so much. Yeah.
Beautiful. Alicia, thank you.
Thank you.
Suzanne, this takes me back to the transmission of that it's time. These things, we're feeling these things. And this pressure, again, the pressure for the diamond, right? We're feeling this pressure because it's time.
Oh, yeah.
The diamond to shine through.
You're right, John. That's so
right?
good.
It's time.
Been in the pressure cooker for years.
And again, that these things are coming up, that we feel it more intently, that it's like that they're finally at the surface for us to feel the discomfort that we're no longer to be with anymore.
Yeah.
It's time, because it's
have it. Yeah.
Right.
And it has to be relatively easy, move through it.
Yeah.
Don't dwell in it anymore. We used to dwell in it a lot.
Or we'd bury it because we could. We could bury it. We can't bury it anymore. It's like so on the surface. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yes.
All right. Let's continue. Blessings to you, Alicia. And yeah, what a gift.
Thank you.
And Vida, let's get you to turn on your video. Why don't you come on the call?
Well, it's kind of dark outside. I'm outside enjoying the night. Thank you. Hi, John. Hi, Suzanne. Thank you for choosing me. So, so my question is, what we talk about, like we mentioned about surrendering, and for the past, like since the end of year, like, there was a lot of things happening. So I'm surrendering. So the more I'm surrendering, the more I'm feeling that I'm losing the people that I love, and just like feeling more, not lonely, but like alone. But I know everything is happening for me, not to me. and everything is, divine timing, everything just is rolling out. But
Mhm.
sometimes I just, I need a little pick me up.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here. I don't know if you're new to John's community or no. Yeah. So
I know, Rita, yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's not uncommon at all. And what I feel like sharing is, yes, let it be. What I and others I've worked with have found is that there is often this time you're experiencing, and it's like it's almost like a rite of passage, or we have to go through it. And as the more we be ourselves and stable in knowing who we are, and no longer having to say anything to anybody, there often is just like a lot of those people rise with us without any words, and perhaps they're never going to be involved in this kind of work, but that's what I feel for you, is to allow it and allow yourself to be surrounded by this community, and don't be surprised when others around you start to do the same, because you're actually going to be a catalyst for many, is what I'm hearing, and including like some of those close to you. So that's what I'm hearing. So allow it, and find comfort as best you can in that, because like you in particular, this is specific to you, are being prepared for something different, and to be shining in a new, like broadcasting in a new way, and then that's gonna become your normal, and others will benefit. Others of these that you're talking about will actually benefit. Some of them will and receive it, but we're
Thank
not
you.
for everybody. Yeah.
I'm really glad you brought this up, Vita, because Suzanne, I'd love to kind of flow with you in this back and forth, because what's also happening in the disentanglement of the energy, it's not that people are necessarily going anywhere, but we're also releasing where we depended on others for the sense of self-worth. In other words, those entangled, corded, codependent relationships. And because we're harmonizing more in sovereignty, it seems like people are leaving the field. But what it is we're finding our sovereign space and learning how to breathe into that without having to siphon off of others. And it
Yeah.
feels very discordant, but it's a gift that we give to ourselves and to others, because we're giving them themselves back wherever we inadvertently took it away from them for our own benefit.
Yeah, I love that. We're not needing their approval. Siphoning. Yeah, that's really beautiful.
And it's happening on the micro level for us, because anywhere that we're projecting, evil's trying to take something from us, someone's trying to control us. While that may be true, it's also mirror, wow, where have I been doing that to others if I'm projecting that onto a larger consciousness? And it's a call back into, oh, this is shifting. So for Vida, Sakara, Sunshine, who are all writing me too, it's just be aware it's a byproduct of a celebration of your sovereignty, and you're just learning how to navigate the feeling of loneliness or isolation or separation that's really leading more back to unity, rather than it is like, oh my God, people are leaving my field. No, you're actually honoring the field in ways that you never have before.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We just need to hear it. We know we're here for a bigger purpose, but sometimes hearing it from other people is, it helps.
We have to support each other in this, right? It's so important.
Yeah.
I hope you'll join with my special offer the Thursdays, because that group is so present also, and it's always my intention that also, you know, soul family finds each other, and communes, but there's something resonant, like a lot of people are saying me too, me too, me too, who are in there. So
Mhm.
have been. So anyway,
Thank you,
um,
Rita, for bringing that in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Suzanne, I have a request, and I don't know if I'm probably projecting somewhat, but I'm also feeling,
Uh-huh.
but maybe whoever it is that's like, I feel this bubbling up. I don't know if it's Mary or Isis. It felt like Mary to me, but is there a message that's coming through as we're closing out?
Oh, there probably is.
Okay. Okay. And as Suzanne prepares for that, y'all, the special offer with Suzanne, um, click on the special offer link, go through it, feel the resonance of it, and dive in with her. Again,
Come
9 call,
on. I love
four
it.
Thursday calls, the Alexandria Library, and Suzanne, a lot of fun. I've kept her somewhat serious today, but she's also a lot of fun.
I don't
Exactly.
know. I think they had a role in that too. Well, I did. I don't know.
But y'all dive in, and yeah, anything,
So,
any
um,
nuggets or
yeah.
inspiration of love, we're open to receiving as we end today's call.
Yeah. So it's Mary Magdalene that yeah.
Mm. Ooh,
So
chills.
yeah. So what Mary Magdalene wants to say is to welcome you all into this form, this new identity as your divinity. Wow. This new identity as your divinity. You're going to start to know yourselves so much more deeply as the divine in you, where the experience had been so much like skewed to the personness, the human. You're always going to be both, but welcome to the new lineage of bringers of that. And someone put a rose there. It's really funny. Leslie did, because she is imbuing she's been teaching through me about the lineage of the rose, and it's for all of us. We all have also that part of us, and let your as much as you let your heart open and this diamond light shine, there's almost a counter to that, which is the softness of the rose lineage. And that's a lineage, it's a vibration. And so she's been here all along tonight, first of all, and she feel into her goddess vibration. Oh my gosh, she simply wishes to invoke in you the knowing of how deeply, deeply, deeply she loves you. That's
Mm.
every single person on this call. It feel into that. They all do. And she's also a priestess in the line of Isis too. So we're all interrelated, and it's not about the titles. She is here saying, let us help wash away, as we've done, let us help wash away the skewed perceptions, and allow yourself to rise. Oh gosh. And that's actually going to be one of the central themes of the workshop that you'll attend also. There will be an activation will be related to that. So thank you, John. I'm glad you brought that in, because it's all here for us. It's like this now, it feels like this luscious buffet of what we get to choose to be, to emanate, and to embody. And I think it's fair to say each one here is sensing her presence, and she wants you to know that. She wants you to know that she walks so closely by the side of all of you. Don't let yourselves, anyone who ever listens to this, think that that's not the case. And for me, she's like really big right here. she wanted to bring this as a blessing. It's not even about her, but it's about the majesty that you are and how you walk too in the light, and you are that big. And there's so much support in helping us literally lift ourselves up to that. Oh yeah, okay. Thanks for that, John.
Thank you for bringing it in and for just being so connected to it. Wow, y'all. The replay for the call, we're going to run a little bit later. It'll be up probably in a couple of hours as we render the video. So you can always access replays by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. We'll send an email out with it as well. You know where to find the special offer. There's a link in the chat box also. That's even easier to find. And just thank all of y'all for having already chosen what you're seeking. And it's like and for showing up here so we can just ignite that light for each other back into that choice over and over again. It's so wonderful. Y'all are amazing. And Suzanne, just I freaking love you. Just it's
Oh, John, thank you.
amazing. Thank you.
So grateful
For the amazing special offer. Thank you for the transmissions and your beautiful open heart and for playing in the field.
Thank you. Thanks for making all this possible, John. We all
thank you so much. Love you guys. See you on the next call. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.